Dr. William Sears is one of the most renowned pediatricians in the country. Today, he joins me to discuss the importance of exercise, nutrition, and overall health within the youth of America. This is a must-see interview. I'm Paul Higgins. This is Coach's Corner, and all the action starts right now. Hello everybody, I'm Paul Higgins and welcome to this edition of Coach's Corner. As you can tell, we do have a fantastic show and a very special guest in the home of Dr. Bill Sears. And Dr. Bill Sears, thank you so much for inviting us in your home. And I know you've done this dozens of times in your home at all different places. By the way, it's beautiful, and thank you for extending the invitation.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Yeah, the reason as I said in the opening of the show, the reason why I want you here is because the youth of today, we talked personally about obesity and diet and processed foods, and then on a departure of you and I saying so long for a little while, you gave me this video about primetime health, and a fantastic video. I've watched this thoroughly and taken notes, and it really kind of alarmed me. But one thing that I do want to make mention of is that when we were talking, you said, Paul, it's preventative health, preventative having to go to the doctor. And I find that interesting because you make your living as a doctor. You made your living as a doctor.
And even with teenagers, teenagers, they think they're Superman and Superwoman. Nothing can happen to them. And you know when cardiovascular disease begins?
Probably as a teenager.
10-year-olds. Yeah. We pediatricians are seeing high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, hardening of the arteries. We thought that was old folks. Yeah. We're seeing it in 10-year-olds.
Why is that?
And it's because, to very simply, I tell the teens they're putting too much sticky stuff in their mouth.
Right.
You put sticky stuff in your mouth, you get sticky stuff in your eyes, your brain, your heart, your joints. You can't run. Yep. So keep the sticky stuff out of your mouth.
When I was getting ready here, and my wife Bobby's here watching the show today, and I go, he's got some great things to say, and I said something about the sticky stuff, and she goes, oh yeah, when you go to the grocery store, you just want to shop the perimeter and forget about everything in between.
Good idea. In fact, the supermarket, Paul, is a giant nutritional classroom. Yeah. And I use it for the athletes, actually. I bring my own grandkids over there. And my favorite is the bread rack. I take them over to the bread rack, and I have them get a loaf of real good whole wheat, whole grain, real firm bread, and then I call it air bread, the white bread.
Right.
And I hold one in each hand. And I say, now, Jonathan, you want your muscles to feel weak and squishy, like the air bread, are firm and strong, like the whole wheat bread.
Right. From
then on, they'll eat whole wheat bread.
Yeah.
And I'll say, now let's go over to the meat counter. Now there's a muscle from an animal that sat around and ate junk food all day.
Yeah.
Notice all the flabby, weak stuff in the muscle. Do you want your muscle to be like that? Right. Or look at that salmon that swam all day. No streaky, marbly stuff. That's what you want your muscles to feel like. Right. And they get it.
And you had a life-changing turn a few years back, and then the alarms went off, and you actually had cancer.
I did.
And you turned that around.
Mm-hmm. And actually, Paul, for many men, unfortunately, it takes a life-threatening illness to get us to change. But I'm happy to say, almost 20 years later, at the age of almost 75, I'm enjoying the goal of every what I call prime timer. We seniors, everything works and nothing hurts.
Makes sense. And in your 9 simple steps, I'm going to go through them. I'll try to go through them as quickly as I can in this half-hour show. But step 1 is phenomenal. Make your health a hobby.
Yeah, make health your hobby. Yeah. Everyone needs a hobby, and even young kids. Once they took health out of school,
right,
what happened? And there's where schools need to get the message.
Yeah.
And once they took recess out of schools, the Ritalin dosage went up. Mm-hmm. And what schools don't realize, if they can teach health, teach kids to make health their hobby,
right,
when kids move more, the blood flow to the brain is better, and they learn, and they perform better on the field. For example, if I tell the kids in my practice a story about the Stanford University football team locker room.
Right.
I said, suppose you were a scholarship student and your first day there, and you can't wait to get into the big mess hall and eat all the sticky stuff you want. And you're about to go into that dining room and the coach says, hey, scholarship student, come on over here. This is where you eat. And I said, oh man, coach, you sound like my mother. No, we have a salad bar, we have a seafood bar, but coach, I don't like seafood. Son, you're on scholarship. You eat what we tell you to eat, because colleges now have learned the better their athletes eat, the better they perform. So I hope that will filter down to high schools and then grade schools.
And the youth, absolutely. And part of that is keeping your arteries clean, which is step 2 of the 9 principles. Tell me about that. I mean, you just mentioned it. You know, it's not like you're going to run and get a hamburger and think that you're going to be healthy all the time. Explain that for us.
Keep your arteries clean. And the kids actually get that. I have a big picture in my office on an artery, sticky stuff gradually building up.
Right.
And what's interesting about that is that very few people realize this, and this won the Nobel Prize, that inside our artery is a giant pharmacy.
Right.
The lining of our artery contains trillions of microscopic medicine bottles. And those medicine bottles make most of the medicines we're going to need. Medicines that lower the highs, like high blood pressure, high blood cholesterol, high blood sugar. Medicines that raise the lows, like antidepressants. Medicines that mellow the moods. We make them inside our body.
Right.
And when you move, and this is a friend of ours, Dr. Lou Ignaro, won the Nobel Prize for that. And he was sitting right here a few years ago explaining this to me, that when you move, when you exercise, any brisk movement, dancing, swimming, running, the blood flows faster over the tops of the medicine bottles.
Right.
And they open it, and they flood your system with all the best medicines.
Right.
So that's why our mothers used to say, go outside and play.
Exercise, absolutely.
Mom was right, go outside and play.
Yeah, there's 7 other simple steps, and a lot of it's common sense, but a lot of people overlook that common sense. I want to talk to you about the other 7 steps and how it relates to our youth and how that will eventually lead to exercise and the health of our children, which I think is super important. But also, a little bit later on, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about a very important topic that's been in the media so much is concussions and how that relates to sports and your professional opinion on that. You're watching Coach's Corner. I'm with Dr. Bill Sears in his beautiful home, and we welcome you to join us for the next 2 segments, because I think you're going to learn a great deal about not only your health, but your children's health. Mission Basilica School is a Catholic parochial school with single-grade classrooms from pre-kindergarten through 8th grade. A blue ribbon school for academic excellence, located on the beautiful grounds of Mission San Juan Capistrano, Mission Basilica School. At Olson Orthodontics in San Juan Capistrano, they want to see you smile, and it starts from the first visit.
On my very first appointment, before I left, I knew exactly what I was getting, how much it was going to be. They were incredibly friendly, so it just made sense. It was completely at home here.
Dr. Olson does an excellent job of making his patients feel comfortable.
Well, I was just really enjoying coming here and seeing him. I loved to see Dr. Olson.
Call or visit Olson Orthodontics today. Hello everybody, welcome back to this edition of Coach's Corner. It's all about health, and I'm talking to Dr. Bill Sears today in his beautiful home in Capo Beach. And once again, thank you for inviting us into your home. And we were talking about the 9 simple steps that come from your primetime health video. And you're seeing footage throughout the show about this video, and we'll give you information if you want to contact Dr. Sears' group to see if you could get this video as well. It's extremely important for your health and your children's health, so I recommend that. But the 9 simple simple steps. We went through 2 of them, but part of the second one, when we were talking about keeping your arteries clean, and part of that is, as you mentioned, the fountain of youth, your blood vessels, your brain, your skin, your heart, your joints, eating the right foods, meaning seafood, fruit, veggies, whole grain, and you talked about the bread. And also, you said take the right nutritional supplement. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in step 8. And also move, and you mentioned the moving part of it. So that's basically step 2. I know I'm going fast, so really play along with me here. So you've got these different things that you're doing. How did you accumulate these 9 steps? And I think I glossed over step 3 if you want to help me with that one.
And well, Paul, as you mentioned earlier, I had a major health crisis, which, like many men, it forced me to change. And as a doctor, I'm realizing things I never learned before, that our body makes its own medicine.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was a revelation to me. That was sort of my book of revelation,
Sure.
that our bodies make our own medicine.
Yeah.
And that's when I became just an advocate of this, and I made health my hobby. I do that in my office.
Right.
I say to my patients, sit down, we need to have a talk.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to make your own medicines. The old model was pills instead of skills.
Yeah.
Here's what you take. The new medical model is what you do. So it's not only what you take, the pills, it's what you do, the skills.
Right.
So the pills and skills model. So if we do these 9 simple steps, the skills, we need fewer pills.
Yeah, and it's funny because during the break, my wife said, "Oh, maybe this will make Paul go to a doctor." And actually, even though you're a doctor, you said, "Don't go. Get healthy first, and then." But
you don't need to.
yeah, exactly. Step 4: graze on foods, and I find this very interesting because in our cabinet for when we first started having kids, and I understand you have 8, 5 boys, 3 girls. Congratulations, you're 3 ahead of me. I have to say that my wife had a grazing area for the kids. She had stuff in there that they could come in and just graze on. That's important to eat more, but half as less throughout the day. Am I getting that right?
No, you're right, Paul. And very simply, I tell my patients, the smaller your meal, the better you'll feel.
Yeah.
As simple as that. And I give them my Dr. Bill's rule of 2s. Eat twice as often, eat half as much, and chew twice as long.
Right.
You can do that. And let me tell you about the greatest weight control tool and the easiest I have ever heard, and I use it in my office. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm on my edge of my seat right now.
You put away the fork and you use chopsticks.
Yeah.
Chopsticks slow you down.
I gotcha.
You take smaller bites.
Yeah.
You get fuller faster. So a simple little change like that, no fork, more chopsticks.
And you mentioned also that as we get older, we get on the scale to measure, are we getting heavier? But you said it's more important to measure your waist. So even a child, I see these children and I see I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's because the belly fat and everything's happening in the belly.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that is what the old concept was, how much do you weigh?
Yeah.
Now we call it waist control,
Yeah.
no longer weight control. And that is because it's not how much we weigh, it's our body composition. This is weightlifting 101, really.
Right.
That you can have 2 people, one weighing 150 pounds, the other, and they both weigh 150 pounds. One has a 30% body fat, the other has a 15,
Yep.
but they weigh the same. So it's belt size.
Yeah.
And I kid my patients that I may have only one measurement for you, that's waist size. And in the very portly adults that I sometimes see, I will say, the next time we meet, I want to see less of you.
Can I ask you a question about that? I see men with pot bellies, as you mentioned in your video, but their pants, where their belt is under their stomach.
Oh, yeah.
But so that's not a proper gauge of it, right? I mean, their waist is actually much bigger than they're really. You know what I'm saying? We all picture that in our mind.
You can't see the belt. That is a big red flag.
Right, okay.
And what a lot of men don't realize is that the belly fat is different from the fat on our cheeks and the behind and all. It's a chemical factory.
Okay.
It spews out what we call anti-medicines, pro-inflammatories, itis causing,
Almost like poison.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the less belly fat you can have, the healthier you are. And if I, as a doctor, maybe with this coming health plan, we don't have much time.
Yeah.
So I say, suppose I only have 30 seconds with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one measurement, and that's waist size, because that tells me more than any blood test I can think of.
Gotcha. Step 5, reduce your waist, as we're talking about. Excess belly fat, that's what that step 5 is. So, God, it feels like I know this okay. So I'm getting there. Eat 6, which I love. Eat more seafood. I know that my wife, and when I learned, initially I didn't like salmon, but all of a sudden I can't get enough of salmon.
You listen to your wife.
She's really smart,
for you.
a lot smarter than I am. And we find ourselves eating less red meat, and that's what we want to do. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Here in California, we are blessed to get good old Alaskan Pacific seafood.
Okay.
And here's how I explain it to all my patients at all ages. I said, we are fatheads. Our brain is 60% fat.
Yeah.
So the better fat we eat, the better our brains.
Gotcha.
You can't get a better brain fat than the omega-3 oils in seafood. And that motivates the moms in my practice. I say, now you're growing a little fat head. Let's give them more fish.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned earlier, you'll find if you go to all the top universities with the top football programs and sports programs, you walk into that dining room and the first thing you're going to see is a big tray of salmon.
Salmon. And you mentioned omega-3 oils, 600 milligrams of omega-3s per day.
Actually, that was an old number, Paul.
Okay.
A very easy way to remember, a gram a day.
Okay.
As I say, a gram a day, I say.
Okay.
And another way to remember it, give yourself an oil change.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So regarding that,
Right.
you also mentioned 6 ounces of wild salmon twice a week. So that's the oil change.
So an oil change, and
Yeah.
one fistful twice a week. So if you have a big fist,
Yeah.
one fistful, a little baby fist would be a baby fist. So
Gotcha.
one fistful twice a week of wild salmon.
Okay.
Good oils, fish oil, flax oil, olive oil, coconut oil.
Yeah, and this is all, the sooner you can start this as a mom and dad for young children, obviously the better.
Absolutely.
And you have to train them to do that. Step 7, I'll briefly mention this really quickly, is eat more fruits and veggies, of course. Step 8, which I was doing for years and I got to get back on it, is Juice Plus, scientifically proven. We'll talk about that when we come back. And also, we're going to briefly talk about the concussion syndrome and all that's going on in the news. I knew that 30 minutes would not be enough for Dr. Bill Sears. We'll be back with more after this. Centrally located in San Juan Capistrano, Olson Orthodontics' top priority is to provide you with the highest quality orthodontic care. Led by Dr. Taylor Olson, there is simply just one choice to make for quality braces and treatment in Orange County.
At Olson Orthodontics, we love to have fun. We love to know our patients. We love getting to know them. We also do our best to be an advocate for you with your dentist, with your insurance company, to make sure that we give you and help you maximize and enjoy your experience here at Olson Orthodontics.
Mission Basilica School, located in historic San Juan Capistrano, is a blue ribbon school focused not only on quality education but spiritual enlightenment, creating a learning environment that's second to none.
I love the feel of the school and what it brings.
They're wonderful kids, have great family lives. They are brothers and sisters once they reach the campus.
A blue ribbon school for academic excellence, located on the beautiful grounds of Mission San Juan Capistrano. A lot to cover in 30 minutes or less, and we're doing the best that we can with Dr. Bill Sears. I'm sure he'll be a return guest right here on Coach's Corner. Dr. Bill, step 7 in your Primetime Health, which is just an awesome TV show, I will call, because it is a TV show. It's a nonstop informative video that you should get and check out, and also, as of course, the book. It goes along with the video. We're not trying to sell you anything but your health. I want to make a promise on that. With that said, step 7, we talked about it, more fruits and veggies. And how do you, if I'm a guy that doesn't eat as much as I need to, I know we can fall back on step 8, which is, of course, scientifically proven, the Juice Plus. But step 7, how do I get in the custom to go into the farmer's market or whatever to go there?
And what our mothers told us a long time ago, eat your fruits and veggies.
Right.
And go outside and play. That was Mom's recipe for health.
Yeah.
What fruits and vegetables do, Paul, is put more color on your plate. color are what are called antioxidants,
Yep.
anti-rust.
Yeah.
When athletes, they get what's called inflammation. They rust, overuse injuries. They're sore the next day.
Right.
Fruits and vegetables, anti-inflammatories. Brain foods. The brain, above all other organs, is most susceptible to rust.
Yeah.
It's high in fat. We talked about fat heads.
Yeah.
Fruits and vegetables are anti-rust.
Gotcha.
So they keep us young, they keep us vibrant, put more color on your plate. And our goal is, I have a big sign in my office, 10 fistfuls of fruits and vegetables every day.
Wow.
Doctor's orders.
That's amazing. Now, step 8, Juice Plus, it's the only nutrient that you take, supplement that you take, scientifically proven. Can you give us 30 seconds or less on Juice Plus?
Yes, when choosing a supplement, ask yourself 2 questions. Is there science? Show me the science that it gets into the bloodstream. Is there science? Does it do good things once it gets in?
Sure.
The reason that's the only nutritional supplement I take is Juice Plus has been scientifically researched more than any other fruit and vegetable supplement in the world.
Wow. And that's amazing. Now, step 9, help me out with this one. Practice the pills skills. Doctor, what can I do? Tell me about that. I'm curious. Practice the pills skills. What does that mean?
This is the medical model that I teach the young doctors and we do in our office. Instead of, doctor, what do I take? I want you to think, what do I do?
Gotcha.
How do I use my self-help skills? The answer to our healthcare crisis is self-care,
Right.
quite honestly,
Yeah,
Paul.
I believe you.
So, doctor, what can I do before what can I take?
Yeah.
Skills before pills.
It's amazing. Those are the 9 steps, simple 9 steps to primetime health. Dr. Bill Sears. Now I want to turn to something a little bit more. Football, youth football, concussions. I had Mr. Lee Steinberg on our show not too long ago, and he talked extensively about the concussion syndrome. Your opinion, you're a doctor, you know more about this than...
It's a serious problem, Paul, because these young growing brains, I mean, you have kids going to school to learn, you need their brains. So I tell coaches after a head injury, when in doubt, take them out.
Yep.
You don't want to go back in and shake up that brain again, because the brain, a concussion means the brain is in a healing stage.
Yeah.
It's in recovery. The swelling has to shrink back down. It's very susceptible to re-injury.
Yeah.
So again, when in doubt, take them out.
I don't want to pick on football. That's just the sport that gets all the notoriety, but it happens in soccer, it happens in baseball, it happens in lacrosse, it happens in a variety of sports, cheer, competitive cheer. Your thoughts, would you recommend, knowing this that you know, and I don't know the history of the sports in your family, but if you have kids coming up now, would you allow them to play youth football, or would you wait till the brain stops developing that way?
I would allow them and encourage them.
Okay.
Actually, Paul, I think sports, team sports, is one of the greatest tools for life you can give a child. After all, why do we send our kids to school?
Right.
Answer, to give them tools to succeed in life.
Okay.
And I can't think of a better tool to prepare a child, girls and boys,
Yep.
for life than getting out and becoming part of a team, learning how to succeed, learn how to fail, learn how to do your best, learn how to take criticism,
Yeah.
and, get out there and run.
Be the devil's advocate. Again, with football, the constant hitting, the small car crashes they say that's happening, for a 12-year-old, would you say let's play flag, or would you say let's play tackle football?
Well, I think the younger kids' flag is certainly simpler.
Okay.
Once they get into high school, they want to tackle.
Okay.
But whichever the child is
it
more
healthy?
comfortable. I think if a young man or a young lady does not want to play a contact sport, then don't push them.
Okay.
The key is, I say to my own kids, I say, what is your special something?
Okay.
What do you want to do? Succeed at. If it's golf, if it's tennis, if it's contact sports, if it's swimming. Swimming, I would have to rate as my top recommendation.
Yeah.
You can't hurt yourself.
Right. Yeah.
I love it.
Little shoulder injury every now and then, but other than that, you're all right.
I love it.
I know that you have a quest for healthy living with you. Obviously, you're tremendous. You walk the golf course every day. I think you play 18 as much as you possibly can. How do you get this message across? Is it what we're doing now? Is it videos? Is it the books you're writing? You've written and co-authored over 30 books and go around the world speaking. How do you really get this across? What's it going to take?
Teach it in school.
Teach it in school.
The body is made to move. That is a huge message. I remember when I went to school, I think I had one of the Ds, ADD, ADHD, before it was discovered.
Right.
And I remember my teacher, my 4th grade teacher, Sister Mary Ursula. God bless her. I know she's up there.
Yeah.
She would come up twice a day when I was fidgeting, grab me by the shoulder and said, "Billy, go out and run around the classroom."
Yeah.
And I ran around the classroom. That was my Ritalin.
Yeah.
And I came back and I sat still. So schools need to get the message, get kids moving.
Not to open another door, and I got to let you go right here in just a second. Would you put your children on Ritalin? Is that something 80 people are doing that? Europe, they don't do it anymore?
I would, here's the current. You first move them, get them out and run them.
Gotcha.
Secondly, you feed them real foods. And then thirdly, you use drugs. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Never the first.
Gotcha. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll do this again. Dr. Bill Sears on Coach's Corner. We thank you for watching. A very educational show. We could talk for another hour, and we might just do that off camera. For Dr. Bill Sears, I'm Paul Higgins. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.